started working in radio when I was like 15, 16 years old. I worked in Spanish radio. At the time, it was the largest, most listened to Spanish radio station in Colorado. Just like 96, 97. This was a big deal because the Spanish speaking community was really being seen. And I say Spanish speaking community because not all Latinos speak Spanish, and that's totally okay. But the Spanish speaking community was really growing, and there were local stations as well. So it was like this kind of bubble of media that was happening. And so I started as an intern when I was 16 years old. I became the promotions director when I was 20 years old. It skyrocketed me to like executive leadership position. My boss at the time was terrible. He was not a good person, and he was not interested in my leadership growth at all. I was getting paid like $20,000 a year. I was the promotions director of this large corporation, and things I didn't know, like I didn't know how to negotiate. I just kind of took it like, yay, this is so exciting for my opportunity. But what led me to that are some things I think that we need to, as we talk about what are people's work styles in this new environment, there are takeaways. Like, it was hard back then because there were a lot of things that aren't allowed now that were happening then. You know, lewd comments at work, making people feel uncomfortable. All those things are true. Especially in broadcasting, where it's a male-dominated space. But there are some clean takeaways of that era that I think could work now. And so here's my 3 things that I think we should keep from the work styles, the work environments back then. Number 1, before asking too many questions on how to do something, try to figure it out yourself. Because the thing is as a boss, what I know now is that I don't always have the great solution to every problem. Sometimes I have experiences that have led me to do things a certain way, but you as an individual might have a better idea of how to do things. It doesn't always have to be the way that I do it as your boss. Number 2, use the phone for calling and not texting. Relationships are just getting lost between text messages and emails, and back then, if you needed something urgently, or if you had a question, you had to make a phone call. And so I recommend using the phone, building relationships, knowing what somebody looks like and sounds like makes a big difference on how you relate to them as a human being, because what we're losing is empathy. And the first way to lose empathy is not know how they sound, how they feel, how they look, because that humanizes people. And so I recommend using the phones for calling, less for texting and emailing. And the third thing is, start the morning at a reasonable hour. I know that some of us are working late into the night. I don't recommend doing that, but I do recommend like getting to work before 9. I mean, back then I had to be at work at 8, and I know like work culture kind of varies on the type of work that you do, but if you're like in a corporate space, I've noticed that mornings are getting later, and so I'd say try to get there before 9. I think that's a reasonable hour to get to work. Earlier if you can. I struggle getting there earlier because I have to deal with childcare. But if I could, when I can, and when I could, I try to get to work at 8:30. And so I would recommend those are some 3 things, 3 takeaways from our work environments from the 90s. So let's do vintage work styles.